Hey guys, happy new year. How you guys doing? And we're back today with another tutorial on Protopie, and I'll be showing you guys how I made this cursor animation. You can see the circle shape of following my cursor around, and I'll also be showing you guys how I did this. So you notice whenever I enter this text, the circle expands and the color changes, and the moment I leave it, it goes back to normal. So I'll be teaching you guys how I did that as well. And lastly, we look at this circle text animation. I'll be showing you guys how I made it rotate non-stop. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is not gonna be a tutorial on Figma, but if you wanna use the same design I used on the animation, you could get it on the Figma community, where I'll be dropping the link below in the description. So when you click the link, it's gonna take you to a page that looks like this. All you have to do is to hit this button that says get a copy, and you have your copy. So what you'll be changing here is just you replace the blank rectangles with your own images. So once that's done, we can head over to Protopie. So you have to start by creating a new pie, obviously, and the default screen is gonna be an iPhone 11, but since we're designing a web, we won't be using that, so I'm just gonna change that. So you hit that and you go to custom. Is desktop of that I've gone with, but the size I used on the design didn't match anyone here, so I'm gonna hit custom and change the width to 1440. The height is 900. Oops, the height is gonna be 900, and we're just gonna hit none because we don't want the status bar, and you hit OK. Once that's done, we're gonna be importing the files from Figma. So meaning the files, meaning the designs on Figma. So I already have mine, so I'm just gonna do that quickly. Okay, so if you've imported your design, we could get started. So these are the designs from Figma. I just added my own images, so you could do the same. If you want to change the text, you could also change the text. So I just went with this because the individual is a photographer, so you could change it to whatever your choice. So let's get started. So we're gonna start off with the circle cursor animation thing. To do that, let's head to shape, and we're gonna hit oval, and we're just gonna hit the center there. If I zoom in, it's really tiny. So what I'm gonna do is go to size here on the right, and I'm just gonna lock this, and I'm gonna change the width to 16. Oh, now that looks big. So just zoom out a little bit, and we'll be changing the color to black. So I'm just gonna call this our circle. You call it whatever. I just like to use names, I remember. So once that's done, I know this doesn't work yet at the moment. So to make that work, we're gonna be creating a variable. So we hit this, and we're just gonna be doing for this scene only, since this is the only screen we're working on with. And I'll be changing this to X mouse. And when we click that, you can see the options here on the right. So all we are gonna do is to hit use formula, and we're gonna hit this FX, and I'm just gonna search for mouse. The moment I hit N, you're gonna see the $ mouse X. So we hit that and click OK, and we'll be creating another variable again for this scene, and I'm gonna call this Y mouse. So the reason I'm doing this is because how we move through the web, we move from the X, which is here, and we move to the Y position, which is there. So we basically move X and Y without knowing. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So moving forward, we're gonna hit the Y mouse and hit use formula as well. And when you click this, make sure you're hitting FX here. And I'm just gonna call Y mouse, mouse Y rather, and you hit OK. Cool. So we just created our variable. Now we're gonna have to add a trigger to make it work, obviously. So the first trigger I'm gonna add would be detect, and what we want to detect is the X mouse. And under this, I'm gonna add a response of move, and the layer we want to move is the circle, which is what we just created here. And we're not going to be making this static, it's going to be a dynamic interaction. So what I'm going to do is to hit this FX here, and I'm going to call mouse X and hit OK. And same thing here, FX, I'm going to call mouse Y and hit OK. So let's preview this. Yay, the mouse is moving. Yep, it's moving. It kind of takes time to load, so you might want to have to refresh. Okay, that's better. So you can see the hot point hint cursor. We're gonna change that here. So let's go to settings. You see view option, we'll be changing the cursor type to arrow. So it's like this. Yeah, this makes more sense. I know it's moving really fast. You know, this is cool if you want it this way, but let me see what I can do to make that move. Oh yes, easing. I forgot easing, my bad. So we're gonna change this easing. So you just hit here and we'll be changing this to spring. And let's see how that works. Maybe we can reduce the tension to say 70, and we can reduce the friction to 8. See that now. Yeah, just make sure you always restart when you're trying to preview. Okay, this is much more better. You see, it's really smooth now. Yay, it worked. So my bad. So after you set the position, just make sure you change the easing to spring. You can leave it as that, but if you want that kind of animation, but I would say spring because it feels smoother. Okay, moving on. So the next thing we're gonna do now is to make this circle expand whenever we toggle to the name Anthony Ambrose. So whenever the cursor enters this text, we want to make this circle get bigger and we want to change its color. So to do that is really easy. We're gonna add a trigger. We're gonna use a mouse over, and what we wanna do is not the circle anymore, it's this text. So we're gonna change this to text, and the response we're gonna be adding, the first one would be scale, and what we want to scale is the circle. We want to scale it to, I think 200 by 200 should be okay. And the easing, let's set the easing to spring as well. And maybe we could reduce this to, let's say 130. And let's see how that is. Yeah. You can see the black circle now, but the issue with this, we need to reverse it. So whenever we stop hovering into this text, we want to go back to the normal one we have. So let's make that. So the last response we'll be having now is gonna be to add another trigger that says mouse out. So we're gonna be calling the scale again, and for this I'm gonna change this to text, and for the scale we want to get it back to 16. Using the same spring again. We'll be changing this and we'll be using 130. So let's see how that is. Oh, yeah, you can see it. The moment I come here, it stays like this, and when I leave here, it goes. And I like the way the circle gets smaller with the you see the spring animation doing its thing. Cool, really cool. But the issue with this is we wanted to, because you saw in the intro, mine had orange color, so we're gonna be changing the color so it's not everything feels too dark. And also we'll be moving the circle behind the text, so let's do that quickly. So what we want to do, we want to go back to our mouse over here, and we'll be adding another one called color. And what we want to do is to change the circle to the color, the orange color. So you can copy this. This is the color code I use, FEA 340. And just make sure you set the field to 100. So let's see how that is now. Oh, you can see it now. You see the orange color, but we might have to change it when we go back as well. So let's do that. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Let's call for mouse out. We want to call color again for the circle, and we'll be changing this back to, you could hit this and we can just change this here, and we can set the field to 100 as well. And before we change that, let's just move this text here. If your text is at the bottom of the second one, you want to move it up so the circle cursor stays just underneath the text. So let's check that now. You can see, then let me refresh. Yeah, this looks really cool. And I go back, it goes back to normal. Yep. So we just made the animation, the cursor animation for this. So lastly, the final thing I'll be showing you is how to make this circle text rotate. To do that, we're gonna hit the arc test and add a trigger. Gonna call this start because we just wanted to keep on going, and the response would be calling is rotate, and I'm gonna select the layer, which is you know what, if I call this arc text, it's gonna call the whole thing. So what you might want to do is to call this group in here. So hit rotate, and under, let's just scroll down to arc test. So we just want to call this group where it has all of the letters, And what will be changing is gonna be the rotation 360, and the easing should be linear because we want it to feel really smooth. And let's change the duration to say 5.7, and we want to have to repeat these because we want it to loop and not stop, and we just check infinite repeat, and we could change this to 0. So let's see. Yep, working. Now we have our text animation just looping forever. So this is it, guys. We made the cursor animation, we made this text animation, and we also made this move. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, it wasn't gonna be a long video, so let me know what you think. If you have any issues, leave a comment below. I'll also be dropping a link to this PI file, so if you guys want to just download this file and follow along with me, feel free to use. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.